Good evening, everybody, and welcome to a very, very special Train Sim World live stream. We're going to be talking to you today, and we're going to show you the first gameplay of Thomas and Friends Visit the West Somerset Railway, and we are beyond excited to be able to show you tonight. I'm joined by two fantastic assistants that are going to help me through the next hour and a bit, where we're going to show you the next Train Sim World add-on. So we're going to introduce them to kick off with. I'm JD. I am Director of Community here at Dovetail Games. Welcome if it's your first time to one of our live streams. We hope you will enjoy it. But I'm going to introduce, first of all, our exec producer, Matt Pedalston. Matt, tell us a little bit about yourself and why you are beyond excited tonight.
Yeah, I'm Matt Pedalston. I'm exec producer on Train Sim World. I mean, I've been up at Dovetail now for 12, 13 years. I've been following train simulation for nigh on 25 years. And the number one question that people have always asked me is, when is Thomas coming to a train simulator? So and this has been over the entirety of that time. I've been a big fan of Thomas for a long time, and it's read all the books to my kids, read the books myself. So this is very special to me.
I think it's very special. I think to pretty much everyone who is watching at the moment, and yeah, we're great. We're very, very excited to be able to show it to you all. Jamie, our resident Thomas enthusiast, tell us a little bit about yourself and again why you are particularly enthused for tonight.
So yeah, I mean, as you said, lifelong. I've been a Thomas fan for a very, very long time. I mean, you can see. But yes, I'm community manager here at Dovetail Games. Yes, and I've been very, very, very excited for this. I've been helping Matt with bits and pieces as well as we've been making this. So yeah, it's been fantastic, and yeah, I just can't wait for people to see it as well. It's going to be really, really good.
And you've got lots of Thomas paraphernalia in the back of your shot as well.
I have, yes, so... I have, yes, including the Thomas that was in. If you ever saw our fireside chat with Ian as well, the same Thomas is here, bringing some joy as well. So there we are.
Yes. So before we get started, we're going to do our traditional mic check for everybody. So just want to shout out to the chat if everything sounds okay, and then we can move on with the rest of the stream. But whilst we get your feedback, a little bit of admin, a stream with me on it always has a little bit of admin to begin with. Probably the most exciting news of all is that Thomas is coming tomorrow to Train Sim World 5. And it was very rare, actually, that we get the chance to do a live stream the day before a piece of content goes live. So hopefully we'll be able to kind of really run into it tomorrow with all the momentum of a great live stream. But just for everybody's visibility, Add-on comes tomorrow. We release at slightly different times on console and on PC. So if you're on console, you'll be able to play the game around about 10 o'clock UK time, and it's a little bit later on in the afternoon for Steam and Epic. So that's how we do it at Train Sim World. So yeah, if you're on console, you'll be able to get it nice and early tomorrow morning. It'll be available on Steam, Epic Games, PlayStation 4, PlayStation 5, Series S, Series X, and Xbox One as well. And you will need the Train Sim World 5 core game, and you will need the West Somerset Railway add-on. If you don't have either of those, don't worry, there'll be a bundle available for you to kind of get your Thomas adventure started. So the kind of the format of the add-on, and we'll come on to this in a little bit, is that it's a multi-part story. It's a slightly different add-on to what you might expect from Train Sim World. It's all narrative driven. You'll be running through 8 scenarios and a couple of training modules with accessible controls and some tutorials as well for those of you who are fresh to Train Sim World. But there will be additional timetable services on the West Somerset Railway for Thomas, and you'll be able to take Thomas on Thomas and Diesel and Annie and Clarabel and the Troublesome Trucks, who are the characters that you'll be taking on the West Somerset Railway on all of our routes as well, which is very exciting, using free roam mode. Now we're going to be doing that right at the end of the live stream. We've got a little poll for you so you can choose which route we put Thomas on, which is very exciting. So I'll stick that in the chat a little bit later on. I think without further ado though, should we get a little bit of gameplay going, Matt? I think it's about time we showed players what they can expect.
Who's ready, everybody?
Yeah, absolutely. Right. So let me switch over. You want to see? You want me to switch over to the game here? Do you want to just talk about the game and describe what I'm seeing?
We could string it out for a little bit longer, couldn't we? We just have a little bit of mindless chat before we go into it, but we won't do that to you all. So you can see we have got a brand new icon on the main menu if you have Thomas and Friends. So Matt, do you want to tell us a little bit about how kind of the navigation works in Train Sim World and kind of what Thomas looks like within the kind of the menu area?
Yeah, absolutely. So if you do not own the Thomas and Friends add-on, this button does not appear. So if you don't own it, your menu doesn't change. If you do own it, the new button appears. The new button is designed to make it to where you can easily find the Thomas content, because otherwise going into the trains, routes, West Somerset, journeys, and finding the Thomas journey is a little bit circuitous. So the idea was to make this super easy to find Thomas. So if you click on Thomas, you'll then get the option to do the story, or you can do free roam, which is effectively just start on foot, so that you can explore and even spawn Thomas, Diesel, Annie, Clarabel and the trucks using the free roam feature in the game as well. But we're going to do a story. Now we're not going to do the whole story, but as you can hear, that's quite cool. That brings a tear to my eye, I've got to be said. Every time I hear that, kind of chokes me up a bit.
It is fantastic, isn't it, Matt? And Jamie, I know that evokes a lot of memories for you as well.
It does, big time. I mean, sitting there on the front of the TV and remember hearing that theme, I know it brings a lot of happiness to a lot of people. So yeah, it's fantastic having this in the menu. I love it.
Yeah, so this tube will appear in the menu. It won't appear in the actual add-on itself when you're playing the content. But as I say, it's a nice little nod to the trailer that we put out a couple of weeks ago, but also obviously the iconic theme.
Absolutely. Right, okay, so we are going to get started, and I think, Jamie, we are doing Hunt for the Missing Gifts, aren't we?
We are indeed, yeah.
So just to explain what you've got here, you've got let me just turn the game music down just a little bit, as good as it is. You have got two tutorials which take place on Training Centre and are fully narrated as well. And then you've got the 8 stories in the chapter in the story to take you through a sequence. I recommend you start with Thomas. Well, start with the tutorials, then do Thomas's arrival, and just work your way through the series till the conclusion. It's a lot of fun. There's a lot of different things to do and lots to look at. So let's go for Hunt for the Missing Gifts. Right, we are all going to shut up now so that you can hear the opening narration, and then when we're finished with the narration, then I'll start talking again. But we don't want to speak over the narrations because it's absolutely outstanding. I'm going to turn the game volume back up a bit and get on with it.
It might be a familiar voice to you when you hear it.
The Hunt for the Missing Gifts. Back at Minehead Station, Thomas was waiting at the platform. Soon all his passengers were on board, and he was finally ready to go. Come on, he puffed to Annie and Clarabel. Let's get going and see if we can make up for lost time. But as he was about to leave, he suddenly heard someone shout. All the gifts for the party are missing, cried the station master. Once again, Thomas was puzzled. Where did the gifts go? Don't worry, we'll look for them along the way, said Thomas reassuringly. The station master smiled as Thomas blew his whistle and set off along the line.
Right, we've done with narration. Let's have a quick look at. Let's me blow the whistle first. There we go. We're blowing the whistle. We've done what we need to there. This is the cab. So let's get started. Just have a look at the cab, and we'll open the door so we can get off. This is the cab, pretty much from the CG series. It's had a few modifications and tweaks to it just to get it into the game ready state that it needs to be in. But this is basically strongly based on the one, same as the exterior model of Thomas. is from the actual assets used in the show, which is it's I don't know, Jamie. It's amazing seeing this in the game, isn't it?
Yeah, just the amount of detail. I mean, we've worked with Ian to get the detail in, but how you've got like the weathering on the bunker, weathering inside the cab, which I think is probably the most amount of detail, and just the interior there, Annie and Clarabel, it's absolutely phenomenal. We've worked really closely with Ian, and you know, we've all put our shown different bits and pieces. So even you've got the Bardic lamp in the corner, so you can at night you can you know, drive at night, and oh yeah, and that as well. So every time you blow his whistle, there you lose. There you go. Look at that. That's really cool. I love that.
It's really
so,
cool,
yeah,
isn't it? It's even down to little things like this. When we originally did an art review of the of this, and we came on and we were like, well, that's all funny shaped. That's not square. And yeah, it's not square on the show either. This just, you know, reinforces. It's a bit like a trap street. It's kind of it reinforces that these are from the original models, albeit with some extra details added. So you've got the rivets around the side, because the goal here was Thomas still needs to look like a real engine and not a cartoon character superimposed on the real world. So it's kind of had a lot of things. And if you look down the side here, you can see, you know, in reality, Thomas would have, that would be a metal sheeting, and there'd be framing under there. So you can see that that's been added as a detail there to sort of reinforce how Thomas would look as a real engine. Extra sort of foot plates and things added, handrails, some dirt for the coal, because there's no such thing as a clean steam engine. Let's be honest, they're dirty things to work around, but as you can see, Thomas looking lovely. Right, so we've got a new HUD down the bottom here, which is only if you're driving the Thomas or diesel, and there's a red marker for your speed limit. Controls. Thomas has a very special control system. It's designed to be really easy to drive. This is not steam physics. For those of you that know TSW and the steam engines that we've had, that's not what this is. This is designed to be super easy. Steam engines, in reality, are probably the hardest type of train to drive. And Thomas is not that. What we've done is we've made this to where the A and the D keys, or your right and your left triggers for a console, will just make Thomas go.
Come along, Annie and Clarabel. We need to keep a lookout for those missing gifts.
Now we start on talking. We've got a little bit of a HUD icon going on here, so this is where we can get going. And if I want to slow down, I just press the D key. Want to go backwards, press the D key. Stop, A key. Go, A key. It's that easy. It really is super simple to drive. Diesel is exactly the same, Someone's asking about eyes.
Yes, so I was going to come back to this. There was a few things that I kind of mentally noted that I think we should come back to. So first of all, the eyes. You can see the eyes are moving. They kind of have a bit of a life of their own, but there are some different facial expressions that you'll see as we go through the scenarios as well, and the stories. But the eyes will move throughout, whether we've got him on the stories, free roam, or the timetable modes. We kind of didn't actually fully confirm who the narrator was, so we kind of said you might recognise him. It's actually Mark Moran, who did the narrated the series between 19 and 21. So there's a few people that recognised him in the chat, but I wanted to just point that one out. It's very exciting. So yeah, we're trying to, where possible, have the fidelity to the show, and obviously the canon of Thomas as well, whilst we add a few little bits of our own just to try and sort of put our own stamp on it as well. We were working really closely with Mattel throughout the course of this process, including Jamie mentioned Ian, so Ian McHugh, who is you know the job role better than I do, actually, Jamie. What does Ian represent within Mattel?
So Ian was producer of the CGI series, and the CGI series was on TV, yeah, he was, he helped us make get to this stage, and it was he really, there was a stage in the series where him and a few writers that came on to the show and added details, like as we've got with handrails and rivets and bringing some original characters back, and saw Thomas through his 70th anniversary as well. So there was a lot, Ian's a lot of the fandom will know Ian very well, and yeah, it's been fantastic working with him. It's been absolutely brilliant, hasn't it, Matt?
Yeah, Matt, as in terms of somebody who's been working a bit more closely on the dev side, how's it been working with Ian?
Oh, just amazing. I mean, what Ian brings is everything you can need. Ian has got a huge passion for Thomas, a huge passion for railways. I mean, for those that didn't watch the Fireside chat yet, go and watch it. Ian gives a really good insight into his journey to Thomas fandom and train fandom, in particular Thomas fandom. And that came through in, we were able to have lots of really, really good discussions about what would be a right thing to do, what would be a wrong thing to do in terms of doing this. Because it was really important to us and obviously to Mattel and to Ian as well, that, we do the best job that we can. We give Thomas a really good presentation in the game. And that doesn't necessarily mean copying it one for one. It means finding the right way to represent it here. And Ian was able to bring a lot of insight into, how fans had reacted to certain things in the past, what they liked, what they didn't like, and so that we could bring that in as well. There was a lot of an awful lot of back and forth. Ian also helped review the scripts, helped the script writer Cameron, who would work with. I think he worked with you as well, didn't he, Jamie, from the scripts?
Yeah. There was a couple of the because a couple of the stories are between me and Cameron. With some of the I think one of the ones, I can't remember the name of it. It's a bit like a shunting puzzle. That was one of my ideas. So we've been working together, and I've been reviewing the scripts with yourself, Matt, and with Ian, and we've been building them all together, and it's been brilliant.
It's like, you want to be, it's a subtle thing, but you want to be, when you're doing something like this, you want to be talking with Thomas's voice, which sounds like a strange thing to say, but what that means is you want to say things Thomas would say, and not things that Thomas wouldn't say, or using the language Thomas would say. There's certain phrases, there's certain ways of saying things, and it's trying to make sure that that's captured and in there, and Ian's just been superb at making sure that we get that as close and faithful as possible. So it's it's been absolutely a treat, and Ian's also helped us facilitate getting access to just so many materials that have helped us to get this to the level that we all wanted to get it to. So we're very, very grateful for the support.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah, and it's been invaluable. The relationship has been really great with Mattel, and so hopefully you're seeing the fruits of that labour tonight so far. So yeah, we are approaching Dunster Station, which is on the West Somerset Railway, which had a bit of a lick of paint, since you might have seen it last time. We had a patch last week just to add in some additional features. You can check out the details on our website, but it's looking fantastic, the route itself.
Yeah, Liam's done a good job with a second pass on the route, adding things like the new track shadow effects and so forth. So yeah, very, very good. We're just coming into Dunster. The goal of this. Do you want to just outline it, Jamie? What is the story here? What's happening? We've just been driving a train, but what's going on here?
So we're now going to pick up passengers at Dunster. I think there's a little bit of a narration in a minute, so once we've stopped, I will stop talking and then I'll go back into it once we've had the narration.
Get in quickly, please, he whistled.
There you go, and that's actually, you can see the sort of lines that we've used from the show as well. So yeah, basically, the gifts have disappeared. That Thomas, obviously this is his first day, and he's taken his passengers up the line, and suddenly the gifts have suspiciously disappeared. And there was a little bit of interest this morning as well. There was some other issues as well. So now Thomas is going along, collecting these passengers, and you got to see if we can find some. If we, the station master, we've got to keep an eye and keep a lookout to see if we can find any gifts and collect them as we go along. So yes, while collecting passengers at the same time. So it's a nice sort of. You have to jump down and go and collect them. So we'll see when we get going. See if we find any more. And also, as you can see along the route, you can see all the other wagons and troublesome trucks, like the brake van and the vans. You can see all those as well in the yards.
Yeah, we're only going to do, in terms of the preview tonight, we don't want to spoil all the rest of the stories for everybody else when the add-on comes live tomorrow, but can you give us a quick sort of top-level summary of the other kinds of things that you might be doing as part of the storylines?
So so I mean, for example, as I said, you've got there's a little bit of a sort of a shunting puzzle, which we won't tell you the full ins and outs, but it was something that was great. You've got you drive diesel and cause some trouble, and you've got Thomas, doing runs like this, just with taking passengers, but you've also, with a bit of the storyline later on, you do take a bit of a goods train as well as Annie and Clarabel. So yes, there's all sorts of little bit of fun bits and pieces. I won't spoil too much because I must admit I'm so excited about this, and there's some really fantastic storylines in there.
What's that up ahead? We should stop and check, as it could be the missing gifts.
Right. We won't find it now. You can see the marker there.
A couple of people have mentioned the audio, the sounds coming from Thomas. Matt, can you just tell us sort of where we've sourced those sounds from?
Let me do this bit because there's narration going on in a minute, and then I will definitely remind me, and I'll talk to you about the sounds because that's really cool as well.
Yeah. Here we go. Here's the gift.
That's one of the missing gifts found, said Thomas. But how did it end up here? I know. When we stop at the next station, we can give it to the station master. I'm sure they can look after it whilst we finish our journey.
Right, let's get going, get up to speed. Right, sound. It's actually been really a really interesting topic. Again, somewhere that Ian helped us a lot, and that's been providing us with original sound samples from the series, from all eras in the series. So the whistle that you hear, there you go. All the different whistles, there are 3 different whistles, and just picked a random one to play. Those are original whistles from the show. Same as the chuffing you're hearing. So there's lots of sounds that have been in there, but obviously they don't necessarily have all of the sounds that you need to make the steam engine work in the game. So it's been augmented with some of our own sounds that we've got from our own Steam library as well. But wherever we can find a sound in the library from the show, we've used it, and it really does set it apart. It's the expressions as well, the expressions on the front. You'll see different expressions, and they're taken. Oh.
Let's stop and collect it.
Another gift. They're taken from original orthographic profiles, from the original drawings and designs. So there's it's based on so much original design work for Thomas. It's been so good, and it also, when you see the end of it, it just looks like Thomas.
Just a couple of questions from the chat. Will it be on livery designer? Mr. Neil asks. No, I think we've confirmed this when we announced last week that it will not be available on livery designer, but it will be. There will be some formations involved. We'll talk about formations a little bit later on. And Matt will be able to put Thomas on scenario planner as well.
Yes, you can. Yeah.
Yeah. Cool. Tonkin Thomas coupled to normal rolling stock. No, I think we confirmed that last week in our FAQs. And Liam asked a good question. Why was WSR chosen? Why was West Somerset Railway chosen for this particular add-on?
We're looking for something not unique to a specific area, I guess. Something that would also feel a little bit more feel a bit more appropriate for steam engines running up and down it. Something that would be not too fast. Something that would have some different, some really beautiful views that would match the scenes. And we're looking at the various options, and West Somerset was kind of the obvious one, to be honest. Looking at the different things, as if West Somerset, it's a famous location, so you could imagine Thomas visiting there in real life, quite obviously. I think it's something that's we felt could be a lot of fun, and I think West Somerset like the idea as well. So it's of the routes we were considering, I think this was the favoured one.
Yeah, it's a great little route if you haven't got it already. Actually, some really picturesque, really nice part of the UK as well. And the Heritage Railway there is really well managed and kept up to date as well. One of the team volunteers at the West Somerset Railway, and keeps waxing lyrical about how good it is.
I've been there 3 or 4 times myself, and it's always a good trip. Always a good trip. It never lets down.
Here we go.
Excuse me, Mr. Fireman. I've got to do doors first. I'm getting ahead of the game here.
And also you can see in the cab as well, if you want to have a look at the roof, that was one of the things that we did have Ian asked to be added, didn't it? Was the white creamy roof, and then the rivet detail, and the wood behind the gauges as well,
Yeah, there was lots of details. I know our lead artist and Ian had many back and forths discussing, the right way to do things, and it's really, really happy with how it came out. What else?
There's the station master. Hello, Thomas. Thanks so much for finding these gifts. It seems that there have been gifts missing from several stations. Do you think you could find any more on your journey? Don't worry, we'll be sure to keep a good lookout and pick up any more that we find.
Right, I guess we've been given our job. Get our marching orders and get on with it.
Find all the prezzies.
Yeah.
Someone's Andrew Harvey official said, I wonder what Diesel will look like in action. Don't worry, we will come to Diesel in a bit. Don't worry, we will show you Diesel and Troublesome Trucks. We're also going to show you Thomas on free roam mode. We're going to show you him, even on a route of your choosing as well. So we're going to let you in the chat vote for the route that we take Thomas on at the end of the stream. So keep an eye out in the chat. We're going to put a poll link in the chat at some point, probably when we kick off with Diesel. And you'll be able to choose one of 5 options for which we take Thomas on.
I selected 5 routes and had a look through, so yeah, you got some very some good ones.
We feel like there is one that will probably get chosen, but it's very, very open at the moment.
And also, I know people were wondering about the eye movement. The eye movement isn't just on Thomas, it's on Troublesome Trucks, Annie and Clarabel, and Diesel. So you've got different. You can see Annie's. You can see Clarabel's eyes moving there again.
And the eyes are controllable in scripting as well. So, in certain moments in the scenarios, you can see Thomas looking at, or the coaches or whatever, looking at various things as well. So it's not entirely random. Although when it's not doing anything specific, so in free roam.
There's another gift at the side of the track. We need to make sure that we stop and collect it.
Someone's asked. Oh, sorry.
No, carry on.
Someone's asked. Okay, I didn't see the narration's on. Somebody asked what Thomas's top speed is. Maybe we'll get a chance to take a look at that on free roam later. What do we know? What Thomas's top speed is?
I must admit, I can't remember. I think I spec'd it out at about 50, or something like that. I don't know where it's actually ended up being in the game.
Yes, I think it's around 50, 60 miles an hour. But yeah.
Because Thomas is based in the real world. The sort of the loose equivalent of Thomas would be an E2. So we kind of looked at sort of some of the performance of the E2.
Jackson's Train Bus Adventures will show. We're going to show Diesel in timetable mode. We've already shown Thomas right now. We're going to show Diesel in timetable mode, and we're going to show Thomas in free roam a little bit later. So hopefully that will cover what you'd like us to see.
There you go. Bumped against the signal there. Yeah.
Who could have put all of these presents in there? I wonder.
Yeah, I do wonder. You can also see the gauges actually when you move. You've got one of the gauges right in front of you shows us the speed. There you go.
And Matt, does Thomas have suspension fittings?
Yeah, we tried to look at how Thomas and Diesel and Annie and Clarabel moved in the series. How do they move? So it's slightly exaggerated, in fact. So yeah, we tried to sort of exaggerate the suspension a bit so that it's a bit more like it is in the series, because it does make the trains feel a little bit more alive, a little bit less static.
Yeah, so you can kind of see it in the in that view there, sort of the bouncing up and down. I do love the side movement.
It makes him so alive. It's just I must admit, when you're just playing free roam timetable mode, it feels, and certainly with the narration and everything, it's brilliant.
I've seen a lot of questions about future characters from the series being incorporated into Train Sim World. Well, at the moment, obviously this is what we're presenting to you tonight. We have our roadmap, which we update monthly, and that provides information on all of the stuff that we're currently working on. There's nothing currently on that roadmap.
There's another gift up ahead. I wonder how they ended up by the side of the track.
I've stopped the narration there. If there is anything that will change from that, you'll find out first on that roadmap. Hello, LaserJet in the chat as well.
We do, yeah. I've seen loads of fans come in. I've seen Mainland Studios come in as well. So hello there. Actually, Mainland Studios asked a good question there. With the... I've lost it. Hang on, hold on. Are all the Thomas characters modelled by the TSW team, or are they reused from the show?
That is a good question. Matt, I'll pass that one on to you. So, yes and no is the answer to that question. Every model you're looking at here has been freshly made for the game, but they are traced from the original models. So we had access to all the original models, and they've all been traced over and remade as game ready, so that they're performant and they run very well inside the game engine. The kind of assets that you need and the way that you build them for rendering purposes is very different. It won't run very well in the game, whereas these have been built to be very, very efficient. So the answer is yes and no. It's tantamount to the same thing, but not the actual models, just traces of them.
But yeah, everything has been kind of created for Train Sim World and how it works in Train Sim World.
Yeah. Yes, they do maintenance videos. They do. Yeah, I must admit, it's they do. You know, it was great seeing the model as well, using them.
Not Ruben, yeah, you can uncouple from the coaches, you can couple into the Troublesome Trucks. It's same as you'd expect from locos normally. The only what you can't do is couple Thomas to a non-Thomas vehicle. And that's because of the physics. Not far from Washford now. If I remember rightly, this scenario goes as far as watching one more stop.
I think it does. Yeah.
Yeah. After we've done this scenario, or sorry, the story, we will be moving on to taking Diesel out for a spin on Timetable mode.
Really, there we are.
So we'll have our first introduction to Diesel in the stream.
Liam,
And of
no,
course,
Thomas and Mark
Troublesome
1s won't work.
We're really looking forward to seeing what everybody comes up with Thomas. Obviously, we've created some stories of our own, but we're sure that there's a lot of people out there that want to create their own stories, take Thomas out for and Diesel out for trips to all parts of the Train Sim World universe. So we're really looking forward to seeing how people get on with it.
Yeah. If you're a fan and you've got a YouTube channel, definitely make videos. You know, we'd like to see what you do. I'd love to see some stories, and yeah, it's
There's
really
the
great.
station master. Can you give them the gifts we collected, please?
They are.
Thanks for finding these, Thomas. You really are a useful engine.
It really is a really useful engine.
He is really useful today. There you go.
Right, we're on our way to watch it.
Also, Matt, do you want to show the valve gear underneath as well?
Well, I would.
The valve gear underneath also shows, just like in the show, as in the CGI series, the valve gear is all there as well.
Look, there's another gift at the side
Michael
of
Locus
the
asked, is so Topham Hatt included in any of the stories? Yes, he makes an appearance, or two or three, over the course of the stories as well. So you may have noticed, actually, if you've seen the trailer or a couple of the screenshots from our announce article last week, you see what he looks like in game. Not sure if we're going to get a chance to show him tonight. We might have an opportunity right at the end. But as I say, if you want to see what he looks like, then you can do so on our social channels.
Dan,
I'm asking about the HUD as well. If you would like to remove the HUD, you can play on minimal HUD if you want to. You can turn on track monitor as well, but you won't be able to play in sort of the normal standard HUD. You'll be able to play minimal HUD though.
I think Austin has asked, can Thomas be used in training centre? Yes, he can, because a couple of the The tutorials will be on Training Centre as well. So yeah, in free roam mode, you'll be able to use Thomas in Training Centre and on the tutorials. And I saw Den, I think it was someone, Den Baker asked about Troublesome Trucks, will we be loaded with freight? Ah, well, we'll have to see.
That'd be telling.
That'd be telling.
I think the one of my favourite moments, and I won't go into too much detail about it for obvious reasons. One of my favourite moments, I was testing a scenario to see something, and there's a moment where Thomas meets Diesel in one of the stories, and I thought it was just hilarious. Really well written, really well played, and just oh, it's just so good, especially the expression on Thomas's face and the way that Mark Morrigan did the voiceover work. It was so good. It was so good.
Yeah, I must admit that there is, I mean, it does play out. We can't, obviously we're not showing you everything, but it does really play out like an episode. It is really, that scene specifically Matt is talking about, it's yeah, I must admit I fell in love with that as well.
There's another gift
My favourite bit from what I've seen so far is there is a part in one of the stories where it cuts to Diesel and it just has the caption "Quiet Devious Chuckle," and I think that is definitely something that I'm going to be using on all of our internal Teams chats as a meme from here on in.
Yeah, I think I know the one you mean. It's the end of the first story, and it's again brilliantly done. So yeah, no, I'm really. I think there's just some really nice elements of the way that the story, not only within, it's a fun story, but just the way it's presented and the way that you interact with it as a driver. I've been having a lot of fun with it.
I love that the presents look like Thomas's livery as well, which is brilliant.
I know that detail.
Stops are going to make us even later. Perhaps if that's the last gift, we can try to make up for some lost time before we reach the next station.
Speed up, yeah? People
Yeah.
said how fast can it go?
Let's go ahead.
Let's go. Let's go.
I was worried that we were going to be late, so
Yeah, well, yeah. And we don't make the passengers spill their cups of teas and things like that. It'll be fun.
Mini Railman says the West Somerset updates coming tomorrow as well. They have already hit, so they came last week. So hopefully some players will have been able to enjoy them for the last few days. Oh, you slow down, Matt. Come on.
Well, there was a corner here, and I thought we should probably stay on the track.
Yeah. We'll show Thomas's full speed at in the free range, I think.
Yes. In the meantime,
Thomas
wait,
approached Richard's station. He saw that Mr. Peters was standing on the platform. He was talking to the station master about the missing gifts, and Thomas was worried he might be in trouble for being late.
Go for it.
Yes, it's the first time you meet Mr. Peters as well, because a lot of questions have been asked about Mr. Peters, and now you're going to meet Mr. Peters.
Yeah, if you play it normally, you meet him originally in the beginning.
Yes, yeah.
Lots of passengers come out to see Thomas.
Yeah.
Mr. Peters wasn't cross. He was pleased. Ah, Thomas, I'm glad you're here. I wanted to tell you that I've spoken with the station masters, and they've all told me what a great job you've been doing. Thomas was very relieved. Thank you, sir, he said. I'm just glad to help. You've certainly proved yourself to be a really helpful engine by finding all the missing gifts, continued Mr. Peters. Don't worry, I'll see to it that they arrive in time for the party tonight. In the meantime, why don't you rest here for a while? I'm sure the passengers won't mind. Oh, yes, a short rest would be nice. Thank you, sir. That settles it then, smiled Mr. Peters. Before you arrived, I was telling the station master about a big fireworks display we're having tonight to celebrate your visit. The fireworks have been loaded into some trucks that are waiting at Willerton Station. Do you think you could collect them and take them to the display ground later on? Yes, sir, puffed Thomas proudly. A fireworks display sounds wonderful, and all those loud noises and bright colours will be marvellous for the celebration. I can't wait. Mr. Peters laughed. I'm glad you're looking forward to it, he said. We still have lots to do before we're ready for the party to begin, so I'll see you later, Thomas. And with that, Mr. Peters headed off to make preparations for the event, and Thomas waited at the platform, enjoying his rest.
There you go.
There we are.
That's one of the stories. I noticed that Mr. Peters looked very similar to Mr. Ian McHugh. I don't know if that was a coincidence or not.
He does, doesn't he? I didn't think of that. Wow. He does. Wow. Yeah, I didn't think of that.
You also noticed that I think in one of the cutscenes you saw Thomas's happy face as well.
Yes.
So his grin. So you see some of those facial expressions come out in some of the other stories as well, and they will be sort of limited to within those story environments. So they're not sort of on command. They are triggered by the chats and the story that goes through.
Yeah, the only exception to that is when you blow the whistle, regardless of where you are, what you're doing, it will blink his eyes.
Yeah. Yes. Okay, so Matt, let's move on to a timetable service with Diesel then, shall we? So timetable mode is kind of another mode within Train Sim World if you are new to the world of Train Sim World. So we've had kind of what we would call stories or scenarios, which are kind of predefined experiences within the game. Timetable mode sort of is as you would operate as a train engineer or a train driver. And you'll be on the actual railway doing actual services. So this is kind of what this menu looks like. You can choose any of the different options. Obviously, we've scrolled through and gone through quite quickly, but you can choose any of the options. And Thomas and Diesel both have their own timetables on the West Somerset Railway.
And here, for the very first time, is Diesel's cab. Here we are, everybody. Here we are. Look at this.
Obviously very heavily based on a Class 08, but not exactly a Class 08. Because even on the outside, this isn't our Class 08 model. This is the Diesel model from the show, which has had some modifications, again, with discussion with Ian, and trying to sort of work out how can we, because there's like extra cupboards and so forth here to add some of the detail that Diesel would have in the real world, rather than a very more simplified version you see in the shows. But this is based on fundamentally the shape of Diesel from the show, which is then the art team have then added to, and obviously you've got Diesel's face on the front there. So that's Diesel, and then back a little bit here we have the Troublesome Trucks in all of their troublesome form. These wagons, you can actually open the door and have a look inside as well. And you've got trucks in the grey version, which have got the face, and the red version, which don't. And then you've got the standard vans here. Plus, you've got a brake van at the back here as well. And
you can walk onto.
Yeah, you can lift the bar and you can walk onto and have a brake van ride.
There you go.
So diesel torn again, taken from the show.
You can open the windows as well, can't you?
I was hoping somebody was going to do that. So you can open the window. So obviously there wasn't really much source material for this, for the interior of Diesel's car, was there? So how do we go about building it, making it? I know you kind of went into some top-level details, Matt, but how does that work on a practical basis?
Ian actually came to the office on multiple occasions and met up with the artist, and let me just turn the noise down, the sound down a little bit, as lovely as it is. Ian came to the office and met up with Tom, our lead artist, and they pored over images. They spent a lot of time looking at the actual model, because the base was okay. We'll start with the Class 08, but then look at how Thomas's cab varies from maybe a normal steam, a real steam loco, and what can we do to make it, in keeping with that kind of a style. So, and then between the two of them, they came up with ideas. Tom then went away, did some sort of drawings and some first pass, if you like, and then Ian did some more reviews of that. They had some more feedback, back and forth a couple of times, and then eventually they settled on what we have now.
Lovely. Can we get a front-on shot, Matt? There we go.
Devious face, look at that.
So you can
And
see
they've all
obviously
got
the
eyes that do their thing.
around as well. So we're not going to do the full run with Diesel tonight. We're just going to show you a little bit of the kind of how he operates and how he works, and obviously the opportunities that are available on timetable mode. But as I say, hopefully it's whetting your appetite enough for tomorrow.
Yes.
Can't wait to see all of the photo mode opportunities and the creator opportunities that are available with this. So particularly when we get to free roam mode, which we'll come to right at the end. Oh, I forgot. I need to put the poll in the chat. So
You do, yes.
I do. So we are going to be taking Thomas on a free roam route of your choice. We've got 5 options for you. I'm going to stick the poll in the chat now. Do your worst, everybody. We would. What route would you like to see us do at the end? Your choice, everyone.
Someone's saying otherwise random. Yes, they are.
Right, get voting. Well, there are 2 clear leaders at the moment.
Yeah, and as I said, like Thomas, the valve gear underneath Diesel works as well. Look at that.
Yeah, the team spent a lot of time trying to capture the accuracy and the detail of the trains, and working very closely with Ian to try and make sure that we had captured it appropriately. So it's been a really fun project, actually. Really fun project with having a good time, because it's kind of most of the team's childhood, and they're working on bringing it into the game, which a good number of the team, not just myself and Jamie and Cameron, have kind of been hoping that one day, wouldn't it be great if, and suddenly it became a reality, which was a bit of a double take moment.
I have to pinch myself every day. I'm sitting here. I've literally got a picture of Thomas as my background, and I sit there every morning and look at it and go, "This is real. This is happening." It's yeah. I mean, it's always been a dream of mine to work on Thomas, and here we are. And it's Thomas. I think I probably agree with you, Matt. It's, Thomas is one of the reasons why we are here, why me and Matt are here, and Thomas has always been a massive part of my life, massive part. So yeah, it's fantastic.
Yeah, absolutely. So people are putting some fun suggestions in the chat for what they'd like to do when they get the chance to try Thomas. We've seen Licky Incline mentioned the Birmingham Cross City. Of course, if you've got both of those, you can try that yourself. LGV as well. Looking forward to seeing how long it takes you to the LGV in Thomas. Someone also sneakily put Svolga Groningen in there as well, but you're not going to catch us that easily. The preview for Svolga Groningen is next week, so you will be you'll be able to watch that one next week.
I saw Bligley Studios in there as well. Hello, how are you?
I just want to actually, we briefly talked about the voiceover, but I do want to give a big shout out to Mark Morrigan actually, who worked. It was brilliant to work with, and it was really good that we could get Mark to help us with the project. And as far as I'm aware, he enjoyed working on the scripts, so it was really good, and I really appreciate the time and the effort Mark put in. It's just that we sent a script, and I think sometimes they get 5 or 6 versions of the script recorded back, with different approaches on taking different things, and absolutely perfect. So it's that kind of attention and the amount and the time investment that gets something to this level. And then of course the audio team on our side then take all of that, pass it all up, and then separate it into the game. And it all comes together with the teamwork. But no, very very thankful for Mark for joining us on the project.
I mean, it was just, I remember, just hearing them for the first time, and that was just, I know Cameron from, who's been making the scripts, with me, we couldn't quite believe that Mark was narrating the scripts, it's been, and the storylines, it's been amazing.
Yeah. I mean, before Cameron joined Dovetail, he used to like making Thomas videos of his own, didn't he? So this is
I did. I've been doing it for years. Yeah.
So this is kind of a.
I think you said, Jamie, you were going to do some streaming anyway, didn't you? For
yes.
Some content anyway. So keep an eye out for Jamie's channel. Cool. Okay, we have done our poll. The poll has ended. We had 307 votes. Thank you for everybody. I'm going to go in reverse order. So bottom of the pile. We're not going to do this one. Linker Ryan Strecker. I can understand maybe why that's the case. Colin Arkin, not much love either, unfortunately. Mitten Varbon had about 10% of the votes. We have quite a close first and second, though. So with 35% of the vote is Peak Forest. But our winner with 47% of the overall vote, the one that I think we thought was going to win before we did the poll, West Coast Main Line, Preston to Carlisle. So we're going to be taking Thomas on West Coast Main Line, Preston to Carlisle as well. Feels like we've come to a good point, Matt, maybe to move on to the free roam option now that we know what route we're going on to.
Yeah,
but let's have one last look at Diesel. One last.
You want to show the headlight as well, Matt?
Yeah. Thomas does have a headlight as well, by the way. You press the button to turn it on.
Lovely.
Troublesome Trucks, and their mischievous faces. And then you've got the brake van, which, yes, just as you can ride the Annie and Clarabel, have Thomas take you for a ride up the line while you ride in Annie and Clarabel, or you can let Diesel take you for a ride while you ride in one of the vans, or you can ride in the brake van. It's up to you. We can do some shunting. You can uncouple and recouple, and treat them as individual vehicles. Have fun.
Do you want to show the uncoupling and coupling sound as well, because that's been added, which the fans might recognise. you go.
Right.
All right, let's take Thomas on a spin, shall we?
What could go wrong?
What could go wrong?
Is there a way for Thomas to pull the Troublesome Trucks? Yes. There are pre-created formations to support that, or you can just spawn whatever you like in free roam. Big Licky Studios. Right.
Oh, Matt,
so
you got ahead of us. We were going to talk about formations.
okay.
All right, let's talk a little bit about free roam mode, because this is one of the I think one of the best features of Train Sim World, and I think it really comes into its own when we talk about Thomas. So it basically means you can put anything on any place that makes sense and do what you like. You won't have sort of things like AI traffic or anything like that, but you can set up your own session. You can do exactly what you want to do with any formations that you desire. So, Matt, you might be able to give a slightly better description than I just have, but obviously you can show it as well.
Yes, we'll be showing that in a minute. So, Jamie, you were gonna what was where am I spawning?
So it was Carlisle, 12 o'clock, and clear. Yeah.
Go for July, go for clear, go for go. Right, so free roam allows you to so you can do this functionality in service mode or in free roam. The difference between the two is that in the free roam option there are no other trains, right? Which means you can do anything you like. It's your world, nothing will get in your way. If you want other trains, do exactly the same thing, but go via service mode, spawn on foot. The problem is those other trains are going to get in your way. And that might not be what you want. So, but it has the advantage of seeing other trains. You just need to figure out how you want to deal with that, what you want to do. I guess I'm going south, not north. Let's go the other way. So let's go down the end of the platform here, and then with Thomas, yeah? Are we doing Thomas and some trucks, maybe?
Yeah, there's a really good mixed rake, I think would be a really good one.
Let's do that then. Let's walk down the end of the platform up to the thing. I love this route. This is Just Trains, West Coast Main Line, Preston to Carlisle. Really captures this area and the 1980s era beautifully. Right, now, so what you do is on the keyboard you press the tab key. On the controller I believe it's D-pad left, or left on the PlayStation controller, and then you click spawn new train, and then in here you have a selection of things that you can pick from. So we are going to pick Thomas, and here we've got a bunch of options here. So we've got Thomas with 10 troublesome trucks, which are empty. We got 10 troublesome trucks, empty. Is this one a loaded one?
It's the mixed ones, I said.
Oh, it's the mixed ones. 10 mixed trucks loaded. That one, yeah?
Loaded, yeah, yep.
Cool. Spawn that. All right, and then what happens is wherever it's going to tell you where it's going to spawn it. So you can just wander around and it'll just sort of draw the picture where it's going to spawn it, and press the button it tells you to press, and then it will appear. And then we've got a mixture of different
trucks.
All sorts of different things going on here. We've got lots of loads going on in the wagons as well. And some covered. Are they 7 planks? They're 7 planks, aren't they? Yeah, they're 7 planks.
7 planks, yeah.
Right, so let's get in the train. And then from here we need to go into the map. This is our train. And I click on the train and click set path. And then I'm going to find a place, which will be here for now. We're not going to drive all the way here, but this will do for getting a path. And we'll click confirm. All right, and at some point in a moment, hopefully, once all the junctions have set, we've got a green light. Good to go. Let's go.
Nice. And Thomas has 14 formations with Annie and Clarabel and all the Troublesome Trucks in different variations. And I think Diesel has 28. So there's a lot of options for people as well.
And you can see how much the trucks are causing trouble because they're jumping around as well. Look at that.
Yeah, and the trucks, even though it's a simplified controls and not quite the same degree of, simulgraph and so forth, the level of complexity we'd have on the normal trains that we do. These wagons still have weight. Thomas still has force, which means that this train is quite a lot heavier than Annie and Clarabel.
Yeah.
You can see
you can feel it in the controls.
And the acceleration is a lot slower than what we were able to go for in the scenario.
Yeah, I mean, we'll find out more when we get out of the 20 limit. Hopefully. There's a 90 limit down here, which we can do hopefully great things with.
Also, it's all loose coupled like it was in the show as well, isn't it?
Yep.
So,
Yeah, so if you press the brakes, they'll bang together. Limit. Yes, Thomas and the wagons do use the suspension system, frontman.
yes, it does, Jonathan. It does very much feel like that.
What else is great about free roam mode is that obviously you've got Thomas, and you can spawn as many Thomases as you like. You can spawn as many diesels as you like. You can mix and match with sort of the rest of your collection as well. So obviously there is a little bit of suspension of reality involved in those, but I can imagine there's going to be a lot of people that are going to be putting Scotsmans next to Thomas and other iconic trains and locos alongside Thomas for comparison purposes. So and creating storylines. I think there'll be some really interesting stuff going on. We'll show you a little bit of that when we get to one of the stations. We'll just spawn some stuff and show you what you can do. Can we put Thomas's lamp on? I think we
Oh yes, yeah.
There we go. Raphael, Thomas's eyes move independently. You're not able to control it, but they move around. See the whistle again. We love the closing the eyes. Oh, it's so cool.
It just means so much life. It's fantastic.
There are moments when I playtest stuff that the team make that I do literally punch the sky. And I'm just like, yes, that. The first time I did that and I saw them doing the closed eyes, and I'm just like, that's so much character. That's so awesome.
Yeah.
Going uphill now. Still accelerating slowly.
Yeah.
Powering through Thomas, isn't he?
Yeah, well, trucks are holding back, so we'll get there.
Matt, so just in terms of close the loop on this one, because I think a few people have asked about sort of using with other rolling stock. So obviously Thomas will be able to link to the things within the Thomas and Friends Visit the West Somerset Railway add-on, because it's got sort of the unique mechanics that we've shown a couple of them already, which mean that sort of connecting them to other rolling stock just isn't possible, unfortunately. So just closing the loop on that one.
No, you can't connect it to anything that isn't in sort of the Thomas and Friends world, essentially. They can coexist, be on the same track, but they can't couple to each other.
As Moleman in the chat says, little engines can do big things, and I'm not gonna shout out the name, but we know you're watching, Moleman.
I'm looking forward to seeing everybody's photo mode shots, all their videos. There's a lot, in photo mode. Matt, do you want to actually, for people who haven't seen photo mode before, you want to show them quickly what photo mode is?
I was going to say exactly the same thing, Jamie. So,
Yeah.
so yeah, photo mode allows you to obviously capture your best shot, and obviously Thomas has got many, many good sides to him. So I'm sure you'll be able to get a really good opportunity to do it. But you can change loads and loads of things to get that perfect shot. Your depth of field, your focal point, rotate it a little bit, motion blur, a saturation, just to get that perfect rail shot.
There you go. There you go.
So then what we'll do is we'll get to the station. How far away is the station? 14 miles.
I wouldn't go 14 miles. It'll be here quite a long time.
Okay. Well, what I would say then, because I think it'd be quite nice to show just quite how many. Let's see how many Thomases we can spawn in one location, or Thomas and his friends in one location, just so that you can see the full gang together.
Okay, let's come out of this, and shall we go back to
Did we want to show us a Topham as well?
Oh yes, the Topham as well was mentioned as well.
So, do you want to do the intro to the first story then? Because that's got Sir Topham in it.
And that'll have all the characters in, I think, in one.
Or just the intro to the first story. It's only got Thomas and Sir Topham. Yeah, we'll do that.
Yes,
Oh yeah. Right, we'll just do the first couple of minutes of this so you can see Sir Topham Hatt.
Thomas's arrival. It was a warm summer's evening on the West Somerset Railway, and Thomas the tank engine was waiting at Dunster Station. He and Sir Topham Hatt had been invited to visit the railway and were on their way to Minehead for a big welcome. "I can't wait to get to Minehead Station and meet everyone," said Thomas excitedly. "You said you had a friend that worked on this railway, didn't you, sir?" "Yes, Thomas, I have," replied Sir Topham Hatt. "Mr. Peters and I have been friends for a long time, and I'm sure you'll get to meet him once we reach Minehead. And I know he's very keen to finally meet you, especially after I told him how useful you are." "Thank you, sir," puffed Thomas proudly. "Although I do hope my branch line back on Sodor will be all right without me. I'm sure my passengers will miss their regular train rides." "I'm sure your passengers will be fine, Thomas. There's no need to worry about your branch line," chuckled Sir Topham Hatt. "I've arranged for Percy and Toby to look after it while you're away. Bertie said he'll lend a hand too." Thomas smiled, thinking about his friends back home. "Right then," he continued, "let's get going. We don't want to keep everyone waiting." And with that, Sir Topham Hatt walked down the platform and climbed aboard Annie. "Yes, sir," peeped Thomas. "Minehead, here we come."
There we go. There was your first view of Sir Topham Hatt.
Let's go to Minehead, actually. If we go to Minehead and spawn some stuff in Minehead.
Yeah.
Let's go Somerset, Furry Rome, Minehead. So someone has suggested diesel on the turntable, so I'm down for that.
Yeah.
You can also filter by simple controls as well on here. So if you wanted to find all of the, if you wanted to find any, any of the Thomas.
The country's been added as well, I think.
Yeah, I'm just thinking in terms of people want to find the Thomas and Friends content. Simple controls is probably the easiest way to find all of that stuff if you've got a large collection.
Yes, very true.
Let's do Thomas, Annie and Clarabel. And then up here we'll put some trucks. What I might do actually is, if we put diesel with a mixed loaded here.
You can walk back a little way, I think.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
So if I put them on here. Diesel. Put Thomas on some freight on this side as well.
Sure.
15 mixed trucks loaded.
Nearly 100
Big
meters
boys.
long. Look at that. It's a long train.
If you want to, you can. In some cases, depending on how the collision is, you can get on the wagons.
Do you want to show how you can get on the brake van?
Yeah, absolutely. Can't go inside, but you can stand on the end here and await your ride. Likewise, you can, if you can find a seat.
Busy day.
Yeah.
Don't spawn
Oh,
loads.
it's just like the other heritage. It's just like the other heritage railway where you got to try and find the seats.
Yeah. It's fine. Best seat in the house.
Yeah, yeah.
But yeah, if what you want to do then is uncouple and
Tom's on his merry way by himself.
you need to set a path, and then you can set a path. West Somerset, with Minehead, you have to come all the way out here quite frequently, so that you can then get a signal to come back in again. You'll see that in the scenarios as well. Once all the junctions have changed, you'll see the junction up the signal up here will change.
The level crossing barriers.
That's it.
There,
Waiting for the
we
level
are.
crossing to go down. But I love that detail down the side here where you can see the sort of where the supports would be inside that. Makes it look so much more realistic. Yeah, I was going to couple Thomas and Diesel together.
Frenemies together.
Right, so that's cleared that path. Now I need to set a path back to here.
Yeah. There's a couple of times actually in the stories that you'll have to you'll be at Minehead. So this is what happens when you get the different signals, so you can actually see, when you'll be playing that.
Yeah, we got to wait for the barriers to go down, and then you can then it'll give you the light so you can go through. And when you're reversing, it's the D key. Think of D as go less forward and A as go less backwards. Go as more forwards, go more backwards. You will get the hang of it. It makes a lot of sense once you get the hang of it. Yeah. On the controller, it's very similar to like a racing car game in terms of how you use the triggers.
Okay.
Set a path.
There you go. Thomas and Diesel.
Thomas and Diesel together at last. Right, I think that will do us for tonight, folks. We hope you've enjoyed taking a look at Thomas. We hope you've enjoyed taking a look at Diesel, Troublesome Trucks, Annie and Clarabel. Matt, you've come back onto the screen. I wasn't quite ready for the face cams then. Thankfully,
I've got something in mind. Look, I don't know what that is.
I was looking at the camera. So yes, it is available tomorrow. Thomas and Friends visits the West Somerset Railway. You'll be able to get it on consoles from about 10 o'clock tomorrow morning, give or take. And for PC players, it will be slightly later in the afternoon. It will be normally when team at Valve are able to support us on Steam. So keep an eye out for it. There will be a standalone version of the Thomas and Friends Visit the West Somerset Railway add-on. You'll require West Somerset Railway and Train Sim World 5 in order to play that. However, if you don't have any of that stuff and you're coming into Train Sim World for the first time, there will be a Thomas and Friends pack as well, which has all of the stuff you need to be able to do everything that we did tonight. There's loads and loads of things. If you've missed any part of the live stream, feel free to scroll back and watch it again. We gave loads and loads of information, but there is an FAQs document available for people to check out on our website. We talked a little bit about some of the bits and pieces in the roadmap article last week and our standalone announce article, which came on Monday, which answers a lot of the questions that we've had answered tonight as well. So I think that's pretty much all for us to say tonight. I guess the final thing that I'd like to leave everybody on tonight, I'd really love to know what Thomas means to you both, Matt and Jamie. I know we kind of talked about it at the start, but I think we really should talk about its, or his, I guess, heritage in, I guess, a lot of people's DNA, a lot of people's kind of rail fandom. Matt, I'm going to come to you first. What does Thomas mean to you?
Thomas is between Thomas and my dad. They're how I love railways. That's the long and the short of it. It's I met Reverend Audrey when I was very, very young. I've got a couple of books signed. I've got a collection of some of which are near first edition if not first edition. My kids, my kids grew up with Thomas. I've got this fantastic picture of my son when he's very, very young, and I'd set the Hornby 00 gauge setup with James, because my son's middle name is James, for no particular reason. Yes, exactly that reason. There's James running around on a Looper truck, and he's just sitting there going toot toot, and it's just like those memories. It's just both my memories and the memories of how my kids have loved Thomas as well. So thank you, Thomas. Really appreciate it. Really, really important to me.
And Jamie, how about you? How has Thomas and Friends kind of shaped how you are and who you are today?
Well, Thomas. I wouldn't be here. I wouldn't be here if it wasn't for Thomas. Thomas is the reason I'm interested in railways. Very similar to Matt. Used to do all the day with Thomas events. Used to, have all the toys. I mean, as you can see, it's been a big part of my life. He's always been there. In every high, every low, and it really means a lot to me. 80 years of history and heritage. There's a lot there to learn. If you've never sort of gone into the history of Thomas, it's quite incredible. As you say, the Reverend Audrey wrote an amazing history backstory to Thomas. It's incredible. And Train Simulator Driver. This is that. Yeah, no, I wouldn't show the full collection because I think I probably have too much. Thomas has been my life for a long time, and I'm just so ecstatic that we've got it in Train Sim World for the first time, and it really means a lot. And as Matt said, thank you, Thomas. Thank you for all the lovely memories and the memories to come.
Yeah, some obviously very poignant messages from both of you there. I know that Richie Rail says Thomas's childhood to me, many memories watching it on VHS. Who mentioned Mark B said Thomas helped my son through years of chemotherapy, which is obviously amazing. I hope your son is okay and out of the woods now. And lots of people just sharing really, really lovely stories in the chat. So let's take that baton on to tomorrow. We hope everybody really, really enjoys it, and we're looking forward to seeing all of the screenshots, looking forward to seeing all of the content creators coming out and sharing all of their bits and pieces. Everyone having a load of fun with it, and just generally, just enjoying that bit of nostalgia and also that kind of little spark of brilliance that we all know Thomas ignites in all of us. So with that, I'll leave you all tonight. Have a wonderful rest of your evenings. Set your alarms for tomorrow. We look forward to seeing all of your feedback and all of your enjoyment. I'll say goodbye for the rest of the evening. See you later, everybody. And thanks very much, Jamie and Matt, for joining me.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye. Bye.